Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Well, this video is apparently an interruption to my regular scheduled videos, and I have already just made a video explaining in the fastest and most succinct way the gear and brand set system and how, as an agent, you can kind of get your first steps in understanding them to then learn to build, and then something that gives you more experience within the game. The gear game is the most important part of this game. It's part of the grind game, and believe it or not, you're going to spend a lot of your time getting good and better gear. But today's video, we're going to be visiting the quartermaster. This is somebody that you don't really visit after you've gotten past the very first level, 30 levels of the game. But today we're going to be looking very closely at this particular area because I wanted to use this opportunity to explain skills within the game. Now, here's the thing. Skills are a very huge portion of the Division game. They are all these gadgets or objects that allow for you as an agent to be more effective in the battlefield. The Division is a unique shooter because there's a huge emphasis on skills and skill variants because they are game changers in the battlefield. A lot of agents go to other games, or I've done this before. I go to another game and I'm trying to pulse to see if there are enemies behind the wall or something. Well, many games don't have that functionality, and so it's kind of funny to see, which leads me into the pulse. Let's talk about the pulse as the first skill. Now, when you want to understand the skill, the first thing I would say is you come to the quartermaster, you look at the skill, you click on it, and look at the variant, and then there's a small video description that shows you how that skill can work. So if you just take a look at this, it's really nice. It's a wonderful UI representation that's been put in the game in a real area of the map that shows you how it's working. Amazing stuff. When you hover over this particular pulse called the scanner pulse, there's a description that actually tells you what the pulse does. There's also a little stats area that tells you its cooldown, its duration, the effect radius, and in conflict, its cooldown as well. Conflict is a PvP mode in this game. It's I don't know what it is. I've never played it before. Sorry. Anyways, the scanner pulse pulses the surrounding area for hostiles and visually highlights them on the agent's HUD. So your heads up display. I think that's what HUD means in gaming terminology. You basically see and it highlights agents and tells you pretty much where they are. I think there's a little bit more information that can come out with pulses as well. Depending on the pulse variant that you're using, you're going to see this stuff happen. And in the case of this particular pulse, and in the case of my build, very important, I have skill tier 6 for my skills. So my skills have the highest possible base skill tier. There's also overcharge that takes you into a whole different realm. So my cooldowns will definitely be much less. My duration will definitely be much more. The effect radius will also, in my opinion, right? Hold on. Let's make sure that that's the case. Let me change to skill tier 5, and then let's examine it again and see if that's actually gone down. Okay, so the effect radius is still the same. And then conflict cooldown is also 90 seconds. Ooh, wow, which is crazy. The cooldown is really, really high in conflict because they don't want people to be shredding people all over the place. Anyways, that's just this particular variant of the pulse. If you notice, there are 4 different variants. Each variant is able to do things differently. This is the remote pulse. This remote pulse is deployed at a set location and continually pulses the nearby area for hostiles, visually highlighting them on your agent's HUD. This is a jammer pulse, and then if you use it, it actually damages the enemy and confuses them a little bit. So pretty much it says the jammer pulses outwards, overloading and disabling hostile electronics. And then it also applies a disrupt status effect on affected targets. A status effect on the target will damage the target as well. Depending on how strong it is, you can use a status effect to damage them. You also see all of its information here that tells you what's going on. And then in green, I think it's telling me that I do have some more benefits to this jammer pulse because of the way I've set my build up. And so my jammer pulse is a little much better than your base jammer pulse. On skill tier 5, it has a 50% radius and a 50% effect cooldown. Let me switch this to skill tier 6 and let's see what that does for me. On skill tier 6, that percentage should be higher. So it's 60%, so 10% more. You can do this for all of your skills and understand how each of them works on a basic level. Now here's the thing. Until you go into the battlefield or until you start dealing with enemies, you will not necessarily really understand the full weight of what these skills are. The reason I say that is not because it's just self-descriptive and you're not just going to get it. No. Each skill has some sort of preference that you as a player will eventually develop. If you were told me that one of my favorite skills would be the chem launcher in this game, I will tell you that that's not true. In fact, somebody asked me a question the other day on my comment section and said, which skills are your favorite from the Division 1 and Division 2? Division 1 was smart cover, but it got nerfed into the ground. And it's not here in Division 2, but here in Division 2, it's actually the chem launcher, and it's the fire starter. When the game first came out, I hated this skill. I didn't even touch it. For the longest time, I've always been biased towards the turret because it's an automated system. You just, basically drop it on a place and your assault turret just continues to fire and target enemies by itself. The flame turret is trash. Don't talk about that. And then the sniper turret's actually pretty good, but you have to aim to and target and do the shooting yourself. It doesn't automatically always knock down the enemies. If you want to get the best bang for your buck, you just basically manually select the target and then it will shoot. And then the artillery turret's also one of my other favorites as well. This one launches ordnance. It's pretty good to bad guys. But over time, as you're playing with different ones, you're going to find out that your preferences do change. If you're running a weapon build, or maybe not, or you're just providing support for your team, you could use the decoy. And the decoy basically balloons up an agent, poof, and then it distracts the enemy. This way, your teammates can focus on the enemy, or maybe they can get into cover because they've now received a distraction that provides a threat level. If you notice, there's a threat level of 190%, based on my build. I'm getting, because I'm skill tier 6, there's a 90% threat. The threat mechanic is something that's in the division that, allows for bad guys to pretty much lose their minds when they see something and then start attacking that thing. So usually their focus and attention will be focused on that holographic distraction image. And then you can maybe, like I said, get into cover, maybe help your team or whatever it is. And then other considerations as well will be, trying things out. Always experiment with the division. There's nothing wrong with it. Use the different shields, use the different shield mods. These are definitely going to be interesting, I would say additions to your own player or play style or build. And be very, very studious of the stats and the way they change based on your builds. There are a lot of recommendations on how you can actually get your skills to be more powerful. But then, some skills, they follow all the rules. And that, pretty much here in the shield, if you notice, this is the bulwark variation. And it says the bulwark shield provides a near full body coverage, but its bulk means that only sidearms may be used while it's equipped. So you can only use a sidearm. The shield skill tier increases with both the blue core attributes, which is the defensive, and the skill tier. So if you run 6 blue core attributes on your build, you do get the same benefits of a high skill tier on your shield. So what I'll say is, to end this video, sit here, study, go test it out in the battlefield, test some of it out in the base of operations firing range. You can't test out your shield in the firing range. You got to take it out to the jungle for them to actually shoot it up a little bit so that you know how much damage it can take. But anyways, this is it from me for this video. Leave comments in the comment section. Those of you who are veterans, do your thing. Make these newcomers feel welcome. And I'll talk to you guys in another video. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Peace out.